Hello everyone, I'm Riley King and welcome to this news report right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. Joe Biden announces committee to vet potential running mates. Biden has pledged to select a woman to round out the ticket. Former Vice President Joe Biden's presidential campaign formally announced the committee that will vet potential running mates on Thursday, beginning a search that will culminate in one of the campaign's key moments ahead of the Democrats' general election battle with President Donald Trump. Former U.S. Senator Christopher J. Dodd, Delaware Congresswoman Lisa Blunt of Rochester, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, and Cynthia C. Hogan, former White House and Senate counsel to Joe Biden, will serve as the four co-chairs of the candidate's vice presidential selection committee, the campaign announced Thursday morning. Selecting a vice president candidate is one of the most important decisions in a presidential campaign, and no one knows this more than Joe Biden, Jen Biden's campaign manager said in a statement announcing the committee. These four co-chairs reflect the strength and diversity of our party and will provide tremendous insight and expertise to what will be a rigorous selection and vetting process. We are grateful for their service to the campaign and for their leadership, she said. The co-chairs of his selection process will conduct conversation across the party as well as work with a network of vetting teams led by former White House counselor Bob Beer, campaign general counselor Dana Rums, and former Homeland Security advisor Lisa Monaco, to provide Vice President Joe Biden with the background and information he needs to make his decision, according to a release from the Biden campaign. The committee is tasked with the executive process of interviewing, researching, and compiling information on any and all names under consideration to round out this cycle Democrat presidential ticket. Dodds, a longtime friend of Biden who ran against him for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2008, served alongside the former Delaware senator for 20 years and campaigned on behalf of the former vice president throughout the Democratic primary. In 2016, Blunt Rochester became the first African American and first woman elected to U.S. Congress from the state of Delaware, and grew close with Biden following the unexpected loss of her husband in 2014 after complications from a surgery on the ruptured Achilles tendon. She was named co-chair of Biden's campaign in early March. Garcetti is a rising star in the Democratic politics, who was elected mayor of the nation's second largest city in 2013, was speculated about as a potential presidential contender this cycle, but ultimately passed on a bid endorsing the former vice president and becoming co-chair of his campaign in early January. Hogan is a longtime aide to Biden and served as deputy assistant to the president and counsel to the vice president from 2009 to 2013, leading the Obama administration's successful efforts to confirm Justice Sonia Sotomayor to the United States Supreme Court during his first term in office. Biden has already committed to picking a female running mate, and when his running mate is announced, it will mark the third time in U.S. history a woman served in the role. New York Democrat Congresswoman Gerlanda Ferraro and Alaska's Republican Governor Sarah Palin were selected as vice presidential nominees in 1984 and 2008, respectively. Biden previously said he is expected to announce who would handle the vetting of his possible running mate by May 1st, starting what the former vice president has suggested will be a process that lasts several months. While the committee's announcement marks the formal beginning of the vice presidential vetting, Biden has been vocal about the search for a woman to join him at the top of the ticket for the job. He is sorry about that, everyone. Intimately familiar with often discussing the topic on the campaign trail prior to becoming the presumptive Democrat nominee, and with curious donors at recent fundraisers. I'm looking for someone who will be a partner in this progress, someone who is simply in someone who's ready to be president on a moment's notice, Biden said at virtual fundraisers earlier this month. Biden, who served as vice president to President Barack Obama for 8 years, has already sought advice from the former president on his choice, who encouraged Biden to look for a partner who will help make up for his shortcomings. I'm going to need a woman vice president who has the capacity, has strength where I have weakness, Biden said earlier this month. The former vice president said in a recent interview that he believes it will take until July to narrow down a list that he told ABC's The View last month stood at roughly 11 names. My guess is it's going to take until sometime in July to narrow it down in background checks just to who's the one. 2, 3 people are that may be in hint, Biden told late night host James Corden last week. The list of potential names has largely been modeled by Biden's frequent and candid public comments and has already been subjected to lobbying from prominent backers of the former vice president. Those mentioned as possible picks range from former top 2020 contenders like Senators Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren, high-profile governors leading their states through the ongoing COVID-19 crisis like Michigan's Gretchen Whitmer and New Mexico's Mitchell Leger Grinzam, to others prominent African-American female leaders like former Georgia Governor candidate Stacey Abrams, Florida Congresswoman Val Demings, and Atlanta Mayor Kasha Lance Bottoms. She made the list in my mind 2 months ago, Biden said of Whitmore in a recent interview. I think we can make a great deal of difference, and the biggest things we can do is make Donald Trump a one-term president. So I'm coming for you, kid, Biden told Harris at a fundraiser earlier this month. Both Whitmer and Cullen-Bulcher have been guests on Biden's Here's the Deal podcast, a rare window into his relationship with the two women and potential preview on what the professional partnership between them would look like. A number of women, though, to be a short list, have been asked about the potential of serving as Biden's running mate, most saying they would be honored to serve in the role, but declining the discussion, the speculation further. Abrams, however, has been actively advocating on behalf of herself, recently telling Elle magazine, "I would be an excellent running mate." And that does it for this news report right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Goodbye, everyone.